Weird, thanks. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It is now 7 p.m. and we are live online.
All right, so apparently it is 7 p.m., so let's start our meeting. Let me gavel it, and let's do a pledge. Stand up, and that flag is behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. All right. Let's see, who do I see in person? I see Councilmember Rhodes, Councilmembers Wake and Weatherby and Mansfield. Councilmember Demansky is excused and Councilmember Grant is excused. They're both on work business. The mayor's here. I see the city administrator is here, and also we have in person Christian Gates, our city attorney. Okay, so let's do public comment. As you know, we have an opportunity for public comment as long as there is not a public hearing, which there is not tonight. You may speak on any topic you wish for up to 3 minutes. And I've got a couple people on the list here. Teresa Kraft, you're up first.
Good evening. Teresa Kraft, a concerned resident. Can you talk about when the city plans to initiate the public forum conversations and update the comprehensive plan before too much time passes and there's nothing left of the character of our historic Hudson River City? Can you talk about a new building moratorium that is long overdue? Can you talk about who's making the money off the Verizon cell towers on top of the Mace Firehouse building, which was conveniently sold under the asking price? The town of Fishkill is twice the size as this municipality in both population and land mass, and they have held strong against pushy developers who threaten to sue. They have recently won 2 recent cases to push back large development projects, some that will totally impact us daily. Again, we heard at last week's planning board meeting that if a project was denied, they would seek legal matters. Our planning board is offering way too much designing service to the current projects before this board. A moratorium would be the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Clark Gebman, come on up.
Clark Edmond, 2 Wilson Street. I wrote a letter earlier today to the city attorney and to the city and sent it by email, essentially protesting the vote to occur today on the DePeyster Avenue storm water situation. By default, the pipe used, if it were to be the same diameter of the pre-existing, it would have a higher throughput because of the nature of its construction and technology to allow for a flow to be much increased beyond the current pipe size. I made a call asking for some specifications to a couple different places today and was unable to understand the extent of the work. Last week, the city manager was so kind to acknowledge the fact that the flow from the DePeyster sewer correction comes across the lands of to which I'm contract vendee with my wife, who is the owner. This has been a pretty long story, and it needs to come to an end. And because of circumstances out of my control, I'm feared that the end will end up being in several different federal courts for different aspects of this particular injury, including personal injury. The city is advised that if it wanted to make a settlement, that I'm open to a discussion to cause the appropriate level of development consistent with the construction of the Wolcottville, which my properties are in or immediately adjacent to, that the structures on the block were put on 50-foot by 100-foot. And it was common that many families owned 100 feet or two 50-foot lots. The truth of the matter is, if the council were to adopt the Wolcott standard, it would enrich all the residents of the neighborhood. And given the city basically
15 seconds.
one last chance to consider resolution of this matter. I don't think I can wait much longer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the public, the physical public out there that wants to make a comment this evening? All right, seeing none. Ben, does anyone online wish to make a comment?
If you're on Zoom and you'd like to make a public comment this evening, please use the raised hand option at the bottom of your screen. If you're joining us by phone, you'll need to press *9. Lastly, if you're joining us on YouTube, you will need to go to the Zoom link instead by visiting beaconny.gov and navigating to our calendar, which has a link to the Zoom. And as of now, we have no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay. Let's do comments from the council. I want to start at Molly at your end, and we'll work around.
Sure. I'd like to thank the Elks Lodge for a very special September 11th event that they held last week on September 11th, as they have in many previous years, marking the 24th anniversary of this national tragedy, that they provide such an amazing and carefully thought of and really special place in our city for those who looking for a place to remember and to think about what happened and think about what it means for our community moving forward, up into any opinions that people have about what's going on today and what it means for us to come together as a community in the face of any national tragedies we face. I also wanted to put in a request for the mayor just about any updates on the Fishkill Avenue Concept Committee, if we yet have a date about when that's going to be able to be shared with the public, and just anything that can be shared at this point about that. And as we do not have a meeting next week, which we will say multiple times again in this meeting, I wanted to remind the public about the Spirit of Beacon Day, which takes place on Sunday, September 28th. There will be a parade starting at 1 p.m. and then activities after. There's some activities before, I believe, like a 5K run. But if you want to get the full lowdown, if you don't know already, you can go to their website, spiritofbeacon.org, and find out more. And I will pass it to Paloma.
Thanks, Molly. I'll be brief today and just add a request to the mayor to give us an update as well on any of your thoughts on the comprehensive plan, as mentioned by someone in the public today. I know, maybe. Is that better?
Yes.
Great, thank you. I was just going to request that the mayor give us an update on his thoughts on the comprehensive plan that will be due in the coming term. I'm also curious to make sure that that process, or eager to make sure that process involves a lot of community engagement. Even though it is fairly far into the future, I think planning sooner rather than later is appropriate. And I'll leave it at that for now.
Pam?
Good evening. I'll be brief too. I also wanted to get an update on meeting with the Planning and Zoning Board that we were going to be doing in the fall, and Molly and Paloma already took my request on the comp plan, and the Fishkill Avenue Concepts Committee also on when we can anticipate hearing them in public for the Fishkill Avenue Concepts Committee. And as I've said numerous months, we still just have to remind each other for patience on Fishkill Avenue. Tellers looking better and lines getting ready to be put down. So, but patience, go slow, because there's definitely some bumps in there that you've got to work on until we have a nice smooth road. Thank you.
Okay, George.
Good evening. First, I just want to congratulate Beacon Natural Market for 20 years of serving our community. They've proven to be a great asset and a necessary service that they provide. And secondly, I just wanted to thank Ben Swanson for creating the housing resource page that we can find on their city website. It's full of really valuable information regarding tenant rights, legal services, affordable housing, senior housing, et cetera. So I hope people really use that resource, and it helps tenants understand their rights. And any suggestions that the public would have would be welcome and appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Happy to be back. I was out on vacation with family for a while. A couple of things. With respect to the Fishkill Avenue Concepts Committee, I believe they're done. I have been politely and sometimes a little less politely urging them to finish up, but I think they're right there now, and I think the planner, I think the chair of the committee has signed up. I think the planner is looking at it. I haven't had a chance to look at it since mid-June, but I'm not expecting many changes. So I think that's coming fairly quickly, and we'll, bring it to the council and have a presentation. As for the comprehensive plan, that's not coming right away. That is at the earliest a 2027 activity. We might start it a little bit sooner if we want to get it done in 27. Comp plans, better practice is to try to update them, every 10 years. But honestly, that's not a requirement. So, I can appreciate people's interest in it, but I believe, and I know that the Highlands Current cover this, every single development that's gone on in Beacon in the last, X years is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Were it not, it would require a change of the comp plan, and we haven't done any of those. So, those two. I want to remind people, so we've done water meter upgrades for most of the year. The main thing we're doing with water meters is we're making them Wi-Fi capable, and that allows for them to be read remotely by the city, so they don't have to come around every quarter. And it also allows residents to see their water meter usage online and to receive alerts if their water meter usage spikes, right? Because there might be a leak or something like that. It's a great piece of addition to our water meter system. We're down to under 200 residents or parcels that haven't done their upgrade. There's a $250 per quarter fine for those who haven't done. I knocked on about a quarter of the doors, close to around 50 of them. And I think people were still trying to learn about it. It's amazing how many times you need to communicate. So I'm trying to communicate another time. If you haven't had a water meter upgrade, you're getting a fine, and we really don't want you to have that fine. All you got to do is call the city, ask about it, we can put you in touch with the right party and get that done. So that's that. The other one of note, George, you mentioned the Beacon Natural Market. I remember I was in the store talking to LT about a month ago, and I just remarked on how long they'd been here, and he was telling me it'd been almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. And he laughed, and he told me a story when he was first moving in about everyone looking at them wanting to open a natural food market, like, really? Mm-hmm. Including the planning board and the building inspector. And they kind of said, good luck. And we laughed because, it's one of the more successful stores in Beacon and a real institution here. But it's just reflecting the extent of the change of the community in the last 20 years. And as for the joint planning board, zoning board, city council meeting, I'll look to Chris to see if we've scheduled. And that's all I got. Thank you.
To follow up on Pam's comments about the striping, we'll be striping Fishkill and Teller Avenues tonight, tomorrow, and possibly Wednesday night, and then we should be done. We're getting towards the end on the piece that goes from Wolcott to Main Street and Main Street to the dog park. We are also still working on the infrastructure on the east side of that, going towards Fishkill. We've finished the water lines, and we're testing the new water lines, and then we'll be putting in the new sewer lines. So again, thank you for your patience. We're still trying to finish out all of the paving by the end of the year. We are also in the process of doing a change order to add additional sidewalks that get us past Family Dollar and all the way to Mill Street. So we're waiting for an approval by the funding agency, NISDOT, but we're hopeful that we can get that done as well by the end of the year. So again, thanks for your patience on that. And many people have asked if there are going to be raised crosswalks at Memorial Park, and there are. There are going to be two, one at Wilk Street and one right across from Blackburn and near Ron's. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Okay. On joint meeting, I would assume
I
it would
think
be...
you have to talk to Ben. He's scheduling that.
Okay, great. But I'm assuming it will be one of the planning board evenings on a Tuesday. They have a scheduled 7 to 7:30 training before the main meeting, and I'm expecting us to use one of those. So it won't be a council night. I'm expecting it to be the second Tuesday. Is that when planning board meets? I
Yes.
think it is. So I'm expecting it to be a second Tuesday. All right. Having said all that, I think now we've got local laws and resolutions. We've got 4 items, and then, of course, the minutes of July 21st. July 21st, sorry. We have 5 items in the minutes of September 2nd. I'm looking at an old agenda. Okay, first one is reappointing Kathleen Martin to the position of tax assessor. Can we get a motion? And I will make a second if you allow me.
Motion. Oh, go ahead, Pam.
Motion.
So I would like to make a second for Kathy Martin. Any discussion?
I think was an 8-year renewal. I assume that's standard, the length
It's a
of time.
6-year.
6-year, thank you, sorry. So I assume that's a standard time for tax assessors to be renewed?
Yes.
The 6-year term is set forth under state law. So it's, real property tax law, section 310.
Great, thank you.
And thank you for adding the resume.
And I will note that we share an assessor with the town of the town of East Fishkill, and the town of Fishkill shares an assessor with the town of Wappingers. We're 2 communities in the county 4 communities in the county that do that, and I think it's to our advantage, and it saves us money. As well, those 4 communities and a number of others, but not all communities in Dutchess County, are full value assessing communities, which means they try to get assessments close to actual market value every year. And again, that saves us money in the sense that we have very, very few disagreements when we have our assessments and our grievance process. So that's all I've got on that. I think Kathy's done a great job. And anything else? Or we'll have a vote. All in favor of appointing Kathleen Martin to the position of tax assessor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. All right, I'm looking for a motion and a second regarding Brandon Travis, and he would be appointed to the position of water and sewer maintenance helper.
Motion?
Second.
Okay, so that was Paloma and
Molly.
right? Chris, any additional information?
Just as we discussed last week, Brandon would be filling a position that was vacated because of a promotion where someone moved up to be a motor equipment operator. Brandon's known to us because he's been a volunteer firefighter for some years. He's a landscaper, has excavation experience, a lot of concrete work, carpentry, masonry, and we thought he'd be a great fit for this position.
Okay. Any comments? Questions? Okay. All in favor of appointing Brandon Travis to the position of water and sewer maintenance helper, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. All right, so the next one is a contract to McGregor Excavating and Landscaping, and that's for the DePeyster Avenue Drainage Replacement Project. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
So that's
Second.
Molly and Pam. And Chris, will you tell us a little bit more about the replacement project?
Sure. And again, we talked about this in more depth last week. This is the replacement of 450 linear feet of storm drainage pipe from roughly the entrance to Hidden Brook going towards Violet Drive. We had put it in our capital program in the amount of $143,000. Our bids came in and we received 8 bids. The low bid was $128,550, and it was put in by McGregor Excavating and Landscaping, Inc. Our engineer certified that their references checked out, that their bid was proper, This is good news because it's $14,000 under what we approved. The engineer's estimate was a little higher, so we did quite well on it. And we're seeing bids now coming from firms out of Westchester. We had 3 that we normally don't see, so I'm hoping that's good news for bids as we go forward. I would just note that there is no net increase in the flow. This is the same pipe. We're replacing a broken pipe, as we discussed. And I'd also note that when I said that the water was going on to a certain person's property, that was because they were talking during the meeting over me, and I just mimicked it as a joke. So I don't think this is going to have any impact. This has been in your capital program, and we have no concerns about doing this.
Chris, can you just give, assuming we're going to approve this in a moment, can you give a little overview of when the work is expected to start? I think it would start sometime this fall, am I correct?
It would start in about 2 weeks.
Great, thank you.
All right, any other comments, questions? All right, so all in favor of awarding a contract to McGregor Excavating and Landscaping for this DePeyster Avenue Drainage Replacement Project, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. So the next one, we're setting 2 public hearings. The first one, we want to set a public hearing for a local law regarding a partial property tax exemption for accessory apartments. Can I get a motion and a second to set that public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
So that was Molly and George. Christian, would you help describe it for us a little bit?
Thank you, Mayor. So before the council is a proposed local law. There have been no changes or edits to it since the council workshopped it last week. This local law was requested by Hudson
River Housing.
Hudson River Housing in connection with the city's ADU +1 program. Essentially, state law allows municipalities to grant a limited partial real property tax for improvements to properties. This law would tailor those improvements to the creation of a new ADU, so it complements the ADU 1+ program, as well as applicants for that state grant. In the application, it actually asks if your municipality has adopted a local law pursuant to this, so this will hopefully help some applicants get it. It was also part of the city's application process for the ADU 1 program. And then just a brief overview. So in the first year after a certificate of occupancy is issued for an ADU, that ADU would be 100% exempt of real property tax up to $80,000, and then it would decrease 12.5% every year for 8 years until it goes away. So that way that homeowners, they don't lose the exemption right away. It gradually goes away. It helps them absorb costs and move forward. And so I think that is about it. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Christian, if I could just, we go back and forth between 2 terms, and I just want to note for the public, an ADU is the acronym for an accessory dwelling unit, and in our code, that's actually called an accessory apartment. So we use those 2 terms interchangeably for a small unit that's added to a single-family home, kind of what we used to call an in-law flat. And I would just note that the city did sign a letter to the state when Hudson River Housing was applying for funding that would help our homeowners with up to $125,000 apiece for approving and building these accessory apartments or ADUs. And you got preferential treatment if you had this 421F tax exemption. So.
And then at the last council, our office was asked to look into why is the limitation on the exemption set at 80,000. We looked at the legislative history, we looked at the bill packets, and unfortunately there was no answer. State legislature did not rationalize or include it in the original bill package or in subsequent amendments. I would presume that it was most likely just as an incentive to offset costs and encourage improvements.
Thanks for doing the due diligence to see if there was any data or just history out there that we could learn more about.
Yeah, and I would only echo what Chris said. The term in our code is accessory apartment. We did this 30 years ago. and we also were calling them in-law apartments, but again, they were called accessory apartments in our code. And then the terminology being used today, when everyone talks about a way to build reasonably low-cost housing, are ADUs, or the accessory dwelling unit concept. But this is the same thing in our code. All right. Any other discussion?
And this is just setting the public hearing, Mayor.
Oh, and the date of the public hearing is
October 6th?
October
Yes.
6th.
We're going to have a busy meeting on October 6th because we're also doing the budget that night.
All right, so all in favor of setting the public hearing for October 6th regarding the partial property tax exemption for accessory apartments, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. We've got another public hearing to set, which is a local law concerning the R15 zoning district and some changes to that zoning district. Can I get a motion and a second to set the public hearing for also October 6th?
Motion.
Second,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a really busy
And so
meeting.
is George, and
Molly. Yeah.
Christian, you'll tell us a little bit more about that for the public.
Yes, thank you. So after the council's workshop meeting last week, our office revised the local law in two ways. The first way is on the southern side of Rombout Avenue. Those parcels are now eligible for the additional uses, which will be confined to a specific area of the city, which is located north of Rombout, south of Verplank, east of South Avenue, also known as Route 9D, and west of Fishkill-Teller Avenue. So this will also apply on the southern side of Rombout Avenue now, except for corner lots which do not have a driveway or the front of their house facing Rombout. So there are 12 corner lots on Rombout. Three of these will not, three of these it will be permitted. The rest of them, so the other 9 properties, their driveways in front of their houses are on side streets, and you need to have both in order to qualify for the additional uses. And the intent behind that is to keep the streetscape and also the character there. So houses that front on side streets or have their driveways there, they don't necessarily have the same character as houses that are facing Rombout. Additionally, the local law was revised. As originally proposed, all multifamily dwelling units in the R15 district only that are non-conforming would be allowed to be reconstructed if they are destroyed by more than 50%. So the local law was revised to allow non-conforming two-family dwellings anywhere in the R15 district that are destroyed by 50% or more to also be reconstructed. It's contingent upon the applicant satisfying some criteria, receiving site plan. They cannot increase any dimensional nonconformities. So hypothetically, if it was a two-family, they can't then rebuild into a three-family, which is defined as a multifamily. So it's trying to just replace any housing that might be lost in kind within the R15 district.
Thank you. And to just confirm what I think you said, these changes all apply only to the R15 district.
Yes, that's correct, Mayor.
Got it.
So,
And only in
specifically-
proximity to Main Street, not on Mead Avenue
Yeah,
either.
so for the additional uses, which are going to be one-family attached detached, so townhouses, two-family and artist live workspaces, that is only in a limited portion of the R15, not anywhere else. However, the reconstruction is applicable to all of the R15 district.
Great. I really appreciate that clarification. That helps a lot. Any questions from council?
Just to clarify, because we're sending this to the planning board and the county planning board for their feedback, do we need their feedback before we hold our public hearing or before we close it? What's the kind of law around that?
So you cannot act on it until 30 days has passed. So if
Okay.
the planning board or the county have not responded by the time the public hearing has occurred, the council would need to continue it to its next meeting in order to act on it. Or alternatively, if there are any major comments from either, then the council may need to keep the public hearing open. So it's really dependent on what type of comments are received, assuming the council does receive. If there's no comments received on October 6th, you could not act on it.
Right. Yeah, I think our planning board hasn't met at that point point, I'm assuming.
No,
'cause
not
that-
until the
yeah.
October
Yeah,
14th.
so that just means, at the very least, we probably shouldn't have it on our agenda for voting, and then we can decide about the feedback,
Yeah, the
keeping the
council can
planning.
still hold the public hearing
Yeah.
before receiving feedback from the planning board and Dutchess County.
Okay, great, thank you for clarifying that.
All right. Any other questions, comments on this? All right, and this is to set a public hearing for October 6th regarding zoning changes to the R15 zone. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the minutes of September 2nd.
Motion.
Second?
Molly and Paloma, and of course, any changes, additions, corrections, comments regarding those minutes.
I noticed that Amber or I were the two people who motioned and seconded everything on that day, which at first I was like, that can't be true. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, it probably can be. So I have nothing to actually adjust.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes of September 2nd, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, this is the second opportunity for public comment. If you did not speak in the first opportunity and wish to do so now, you certainly may. Seeing no one in the physical public who seems to have any interest in making comment this evening, anyone in the online community? Ben?
Not online, Mayor.
Okay. I do want to announce that we will not be having a meeting the following Monday. It is the fourth Monday of a 5-Monday month, and it is usually, as a result, a non-meeting Monday. Our workshop will be on the final Monday of the month, which is September 29th. It will be at 7 p.m. here, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Pam and Paloma, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
That was a very-
Recording